Hi, hello again. If you've seen my previous video on building the American LST, you probably know that I planned to put it on a diorama. So, what are we waiting for? We will make the base from a piece of styrofoam. I ordered a piece of styrofoam in a specific shape, but in the end it didn't fit, so I had to change it a bit. Let's take a look. When we know the size of our diorama, we can get down to placing our model on it. Of course, it is not enough to just place it. We need to cut a piece of styrofoam so that the ship is in the water, not on it. Much better. This will not be the only model on this diorama. We will add 2 more landing barges to make it more interesting. What's next? I cut the styrofoam so the glue will stick better. There are 2 methods that I know of to make the water on the sea diorama: putty and aluminum foil. This is my first sea diorama, so I will use the simpler method, which is aluminum foil, of course. As you can see, I form waves with it and glue the foil pieces to the styrofoam using PVA glue. The most boring, but always needed, is to make the sides of the diorama. I use a 1 mm plastic sheet for this. I cut it into the shape of the waves and glue it on with, again, PVA glue. Okay, let's finish the water. I apply a thin layer of PVA glue to our foil waves and glue 1 layer of aluminum foil over that. Fortunately, PVA glue takes a long time to dry, so most of the processes during the building of such a diorama are relaxing and enjoyable. I press the foil down to make sure it fits well. Everything is still soft enough for me to correct the shape of the waves. So, I correct everything so that it looks nice and pretty, and wait for the glue under the foil to dry. I cut off the excess foil flush with the edge of the diorama and apply another layer of PVA glue. This layer is to protect the delicate foil and level out the sharp edges to make the water look more natural. After drying, the glue became more transparent and you can see the foil underneath. This is nothing. Once I bought such a primer in a can and I would like to use it finally, but let me to do it outside. I have too little ventilation in my studio. Okay, after the primer the first color I use is dark grey. I paint it lightly on the deeper areas to emphasize the waves. Then I cover the whole surface with the main color, which is sea blue. One of the boats will be in movement, so there will be foam forming behind it. I sketch the shape of the boat's truck. It is time to finally put all the pieces together. I put the models on the diorama. I painted the boats in the same way as the ship. If you're interested in the painting technique, I invite you to see my previous video. This white specific is not PVA glue. It smells the same, has the same consistency, but the difference is that when it dries, it is not whitish, but completely transparent. This product is water gel transparent from AK Interactive. The only disadvantage I have found is that it is slightly sticky after it dries. I glued the boats with it and filled the gaps between the water and the sides of the ship with it. After drying, we want to get this effect. I dust off the diorama and apply a relatively thick layer of our water gel to the surface. In addition, I create small waves with a paintbrush. After this process, the sea will be more glossy. So far so good. Now the foam. I remind that this is my first sea diorama. I paint the foam with white acrylic paint. Actually, I was correcting something with it all the time, so what you see is not the final result. You need to wait to the end of the video. Not enough boats, so I'm attaching 2 more. And finally some interesting element of this diorama. Ship's equipment. I printed a lot of crates to put them on the deck. There are also some unpainted ones. They will be covered. You will see how I do it in a moment. We also have fuel barrels, which are adorable, and more crates made of small pieces of plastic sheet. Okay, the covers. I like to use this method in my models. It's a simple tissue that I soak in very diluted PVA glue with water. When the glue dries, it becomes hard and our material is ready for painting. I used 2 very similar colors. They look almost the same, although the plan was to make the difference clearly visible. Well, it's not too bad anyway. Before the most fun part, I add a few details like the lines, for example. And finally, we come to the coolest element of the diorama, the minifigures. This is entirely my production. I created 3D models and printed them. I created quite a lot of them. There are 19 models in total, and they are available on my Patreon. You are more than welcome to visit. Okay, I painted the soldiers with primer and base color, and started painting the details with a paintbrush. This is very difficult to film such a process. My recording equipment and skills allowed me only as much as you can see. So, excuse me, I will show you the final result. For comparison, a standard bottle of paint. Let's put the crew on the board. This process was the most fun for me. I recommended placing the figures on the models. Immediately, life appeared. I glue minifigures to the surface on super glue. I also created sailors to take care of the ship when the land troops have already sailed to fight for a free Europe. One more small addition, which I was waiting for from the very beginning of the idea of building this diorama. A climbing net, on which the soldiers walk down to the barge with a tiny climber. it came out exactly as I planned for myself. This is the first video in which I can warmly thank my first patrons. You guys are great, thank you so much for your support, and I hope you enjoy the extra content. I think that for a first sea diorama, it came out quite well. What do you guys think?